The Montana Legislature wraps up its first half of the 2021 session today, with lawmakers pledging to come back next week ready to work together on hammering out the budget and tackling other issues to advance the state's economy.
But in the Montana House, some pointed partisan exchanges have led Democratic leaders to accuse some Republicans of abusing their majority power to mistreat members of the minority and breach decorum. MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison has more.
At the close of last Saturday's House floor session, Democratic State Representative Mary Ann Dunwell of Helena rose to say that she'd been harassed, intimidated, and bullied when presenting a resolution 4 days earlier. Her resolution asked that Montana as a state declare white supremacist neo-Nazi violence as domestic terrorism. As Dunwell attempted to make a point after some tough questions by Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee, Chairman Barry Usher cut her off.
Now you're muted and I will speak. And if you continue, I'll just drop you off the call. As the sponsor, you do not have any point of privilege. It's not appropriate in this committee. It's not appropriate as you as the sponsor. Are we clear?
The combative hearing continued and ended with Usher not allowing Dunwell to close. Republicans on the panel immediately voted to kill the bill. House Democratic leaders later denounced the treatment of Dunwell as disrespectful and malicious, but said it wasn't an isolated incident. During floor debates, Republican chairs have sometimes disallowed Democratic comments, saying they're not specifically on the bill. One such exchange prompted this response from Representative Jonathan Windyboy when he was told not to mention racism during a debate on a bill banning sanctuary cities.
Racism does exist here. I know because I got surrounded by 5 cops 2 months ago in the city.
Representative, we're not saying racism doesn't exist. We're trying to stay to the language of the bill.
Let me finish. I'm not being censored, I told you, and I'm not going to sit down and shut up.
10 days ago, Representative Marika Farrow of Helena stood to object to what she saw as disrespectful treatment of fellow Democrat Jim Keene of Butte on the House floor.
People were shouting out and saying things to the point where it sounded like heckling. And so I would ask that we stop and think, what's more important in our own minds, to be right or to be kind?
And just this week, Republican Representative Derek Skees of Kalispell apologized for ramming through a bill in committee without allowing Democrats to vote, an action that was reversed on Monday when Democrats did get to vote. On the House floor earlier that day, Republican House Majority Leader Sue Vinton of Billings said her caucus regretted that action and urged all members to remember decorum.
We all agree that this House is deserving of our respect and civility, even during the most stressful of times. Looking forward, House Republicans pledge to redouble our efforts to conduct ourselves in a manner befitting the People's House.
Yet Vinton also fired off a letter Monday blasting Representative Dunwell, saying she had impugned the reputation and character of Republican House members and could be subject to censure. Dunwell told MTN News that Republicans could censure her if they like, but would not silence her. House Democratic leaders and Dunwell also told us that some Republican lawmakers had privately apologized for the way she and other Democrats had been treated. So where does this leave us as we start the second half of the session? As we said, GOP leaders and some rank and file want to work together with a minority when they can. But they still hold big majorities and they have the votes to do what they want. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Lawmakers return to Helena for the second half of the session starting next month.